Hey, mommy. Hopefully, I can get this out with a dry eye, so bear with me. I wrote this because I don't know, I was getting confused, but let me just say this. Happy birthday, my first love. You are more than a mother, more than a friend, more than half of me. When I look down at the paper as I write, I see your fingers. When I look down at the ground as I step into my purpose, I see your toes. When I look into the mirror and stare into my eyes to understand my flaws, those very eyes are shaped by your eyebrows. When I speak too fast for comprehension as I try to get my thoughts out, I hear your voice. When I use my imagination and I channel your creativity. When I try to sing harmonious notes and shrills of simple and pure chaos float from my lips, I channel your totally non-singing voice. My attention to detail flows directly from you. My love of the good life, fast convertibles, strong drinks, exquisite cigars, and fine dining comes directly from you. My love for the glitz, glitter, lights, camera, and action of every city this world has to offer comes from you. When I was a kid, you stayed in airplanes. Now I live in them. You are well-read, well-traveled, and now I am. You are the intelligent social loner, and now I am. You are a friend to all, but truly enjoys nothing more than friends and family, and now that's who I am. You grew from a party animal, fast life socialite, to the head of professional organizations who spent years giving back to the community, their youth, and now I'm doing the same. When I was addicted to the allure and high risk and high stakes of the game and the fast rush of street life, fast cars, fast women, and faster money, you never judged me. You just loved me. You didn't disown me. You just told me that to do what I had to do, but realize the consequences of what I was doing. You told me that you would love me on this side of the next. And I can't tell you how many times I thought I wouldn't make it past the clock striking midnight, but I can tell you that your understanding and your non-judgment kept me tethered to something solid and something square. You are the breadcrumbs that my heart and mind follow back from the streets every night. Like all of us, you had your shared challenges, and I watched you overcome them step by step. Some steps were easier than others, but with courage, dignity, and bravery, you took those steps. We always had a different kind of mother-son dynamic than everyone else, and I've always loved you more than any son could ever love his mother. You know, at 37, I realized that you're more than just an amazing mother. You just didn't parent like everybody else. You knew that my father, who was the ultimate conservative, straight arrow, straight edge, there were things that he couldn't or either wouldn't show me about this crazy world. And you made sure you introduced me to those things so they would never catch me off guard and take me away by force in the storm. When I was 9, you taught me the art of negotiations, as we would negotiate with each other about what we wouldn't tell my father. We had a mommy and son secrets that we share to this day and that we'll share until we both draw our last breaths. When I was 10, you took off from work and pulled me out of school to see The Color Purple. You made me watch it twice, and that day you told me I was never to put my hands on a woman regardless of the circumstances. You told me that I was supposed to take care of my woman, but not all women, just one, the right one. You told me I was never to let a woman tie me down, but I could let her fly with me. You told me that I came from greatness and that I was better than anyone would know, except for you, because you were my mommy, and no one would ever know me or love me like you do. When I was 11, you took me on a train ride to Kansas City. You told me that trains were a part of our family's legacy, and every distinguished gentleman should know the joys of train transportation. On that trip, we ate and drank, and you told me that there were things that I needed to know about this world, and you would be the one to tell me. On that trip, I drank my soda out of a rocks glass, and you enjoyed your Crown Royal neat. We enjoyed the finest steaks. I remember you telling me that you were going to call my father, and right before you walked out of the door, you took the remote and put on a special movie on the hotel TV and gave me privacy. What an amazing trip it was. On the way back, when the news crew interviewed me about my experience on the train, you sat back proudly and watched. And when it was over, you told me that I was going to be a star and that this was just the beginning. When I was 12, you gave me a shot of wild turkey and a cigarette and told me to have a drink and a smoke. You told me I wouldn't like it, and I didn't. You said that I would never be impressed with what everyone else had to sneak and do. You told me to be my own man, and when others came to get me to do something, I could say I could have been there, done that. When I was 13, you took me to the City of Lights, Las Vegas. You gave me a room key and told me to explore and be careful. You said you want to show me what the bright lights of big cities were all about. That night at Circus, I had my first cigar. You pointed out the prostitutes and told me never to be fooled by how a woman looked and carried herself, because she could still be a whore on the inside. You told me that the wrong woman will want me for my money, but the right woman will want me for my name. When I was 14 and 17-year-old Shanna put a ring of hickeys around my neck, you cussed me out and told me that I was not mother cattle and that no little pissy-tail gal would ever brand me again. You showed me that she was marking territory and property that she hadn't paid for and could not afford. You told me these little girls would try to trick me out of my forever if I tried to trick them out of their panties. So to be up front and tell them what I wanted and give them two choices: play and stay, or say no and leave. When I was 15, you taught me that sometimes a man is all alone in this world, and the bullies and monsters of this world are always bigger than you. You told me that I would either tuck tail and run, or stand chest out and take an ass whooping, if necessary, if it meant keeping my dignity. Then you said I had a third choice. You said my mind worked faster than everyone else's, and if I was smart, I could think myself out of any jam because I would see it coming, and I could make the bullies and monsters do whatever I wanted them to. I could make them my footstools. When I was 16, you caught me disrespecting your house, ravaging a 20-something-year-old chick who to this day I have no idea what her name is. But you told me if she was willing to let me do that to her at my mother's house, she'd be willing to let every Tom, Dick, and Harry do that to her together. And then the next day you bought me a box of condoms and told me not to get caught slipping and sliding in the rain without my raincoats. I could hear it now. Don't bring any babies or whores into my house. When I was 17, I was involved with 27-year-old Carolyn, and you said that all she wanted me to do was drain me of my youth and ruin my life. When Carolyn got big and bold in our living room and speaking some Louisiana voodoo words, you countered back with some Choctaw Indian chant, who knows what you two were saying, and you told her you could get her arrested for statutory rape, or you could beat her ass and show her what life was really about. Needless to say, I didn't deal with Carolyn too much more after that. You told me never to be anybody's toy or play anybody's game. You told me to be the puppet master and play chess with the minds and hearts of those that came to do me harm. When I was 18, you told me I would either end up in jail or on top of the world, and that you didn't visit jails because you were too busy living on top of the world. I never knew just how much you loved me until the day my son died. You comforted me in a way that is indescribable. When I didn't know how it would go on or how I would take another breath, you looked at me and you smiled and you held me, even though I was standing strong. On the outside, I was collapsing and diving and dying into a deep depression on the inside. It was never what you said. It was everything that you didn't say. You communicated to me in a language that only a mother and a son can understand. My father and sister may call me cowboy, and the world may call me wood. but I'll always be your top guard. Happy birthday, mommy. I love you for eternity, from this night, from this life to the next.